Good evening. You are tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim reiterates that he will not tolerate any form of corruption in his administration. The Prime Minister stressed that any member of his cabinet found to be involved in corrupt practices must be dealt with and dismissed from their positions.
Setahun 3 bulan. Saya salut juga pada rakan-rakan, kita dapat berikan imej pimpinan yang bersih dari rasuah. Tetapi peringatan itu jelas. SPRM tidak mungkin mengecualikan siasatan ke atas pimpinan yang ada sekarang atau memantau setiap tender atau keputusan yang dibuat. Nah, kalau ada, saya katakan, jangan tanya saya, persila ambil tindakan dan orang-orang yang berkenaan wajib digugurkan. Baru boleh negara ini selamat.
The ringgit is expected to strengthen further, trading at 450 to the US dollar by year end. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan says this prediction by banks is based on the positive development of the country's economy and a rise in investor confidence.
Telah nampak tanda-tanda yang baik daripada segi ekonomi. Bursa telah pun meningkat sebanyak 7% tahun ini. Inilah petanda yang baik juga kerana dia menunjuk confidence yang ada kepada syarikat-syarikat yang ada dalam negara. Kalau kita lihat juga daripada segi penganalisa perbankan, mereka merasakan ringgit adalah mungkin di tahap yang antara 8 ke 10% lebih rendah daripada apa yang sepatutnya berada. Dengan data-data saya katakan sebelum ini, kita merasa ringgit akan terus mengukuh dan dijangka daripada analisa perbankan, ringgit akan mengukuh ke tahap RM4.50 sebelum hujung tahun ini.
Amir Hamzah stressed that there was no need to peg the ringgit against the US dollar or impose currency restrictions, as was done during the 1998 Asian financial crisis. He said coordination between the Finance Ministry and Bank Negara Malaysia, BNM, as well as other stakeholders, would also help to increase inflows into the foreign exchange market to strengthen the value of the ringgit. He said BNM was always ready to intervene in the foreign exchange market to curb currency movements that are considered excessive.
The nation must redirect its focus from domestic rivalry between Bumiputra and non-Bumiputras to competing together on a global scale. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli says there is potential for both to thrive through partnership to grow the economic pie for all rather than competing against each other.
We have to compete with the world. So it's no longer about competing among ourselves, and we have to grow the cake, and so that with a bigger cake, it gives us more muscle for us to compete in a very challenging environment. And for that to happen, growing the cake, growing more muscle, it's common sense that the best opportunity kepada Bumiputra dan bukan Bumiputra is to find that smart and genuine partnership.
Speaking on the sidelines of the Bumiputra Economic Congress 2024, he said the government is expected to come up with a set of policies on Bumiputra empowerment around May or June this year. Earlier today, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi launched the Bumiputra Economic Transformation (TEB) as a new policy for the Bumiputra economic agenda. He said the new progressive policy aimed to narrow the socio-economic gap among the people and open the door to broader progress for all segments of society.
The Public Accounts Committee, PAC, has expressed concern over the continued delays in the construction of the Royal Malaysian Navy's Littoral Combat Ship LCS. PAC Chairperson Datuk Mas Ermiati Samsudin says the project is 86 days behind schedule as of December last year.
Kebimbangan utama PAC adalah pembinaan kapal LCS ini terus lewat dan MINDEF memaklumkan setakat Disember 2023, projek ini telah lewat sebanyak 86 hari dengan mencapai 67.28% berbanding dengan jadual garis masa yang telah pun ditetapkan, yang baru yang ditetapkan oleh MINDEF, iaitu 68.77%.
The PAC was informed that the Defence Ministry has yet to finalise a detailed design with French defence contractor Naval Group. Mas Ermiati said this was revealed during a follow-up meeting with the ministry on January 24th. In December 2011, the Defence Ministry awarded a 9 billion ringgit contract to Baustad Naval Shipyards, Durian Berhad, for 6 ships as part of the Navy's fleet renewal plan. The first vessel was slated to be delivered by April 2019, and the next 5 ships were to be handed over at 6-month intervals until 2023. However, none have been delivered.
Malaysia plans to achieve 80% self-sufficiency in white rice production by 2030. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Sabu says the government aims to produce 2.2 million metric tons of white rice by 2028.
In a written parliamentary reply, Muhammad revealed that local white rice self-sufficiency stood at 62.6% and current production levels were insufficient to meet local demand. He said his ministry was targeting a self-sufficiency rate of 75% by next year. Muhammad added that they were working with the Malaysia Competition Commission to determine whether cartels were responsible for the recent shortage of locally produced white rice in the market. He said the shortage was also caused by several external and domestic factors, including lower production yields.
In Scotland, a leap day once brought superstition. But in 1969, a law gave those born on February 29 the freedom to celebrate on either February 28th or March 1st in non-leap years. Pope Gregory XIII's papal power reshaped time in 1582, introducing the Gregorian calendar, including leap years, to fix the Julian Caesar's calendar's inaccuracies. In sports, leap years intertwine with major events like the Summer Olympics and the FIFA World Cup, which is held every 4 years, syncing the games with our calendar. Irish folklore spins tales of Bachelor's Day on February 29th, when women can propose to men, challenging tradition and celebrating love. Leap years in the US mark presidential elections, ensuring each term aligns with the leap year cycle, though posing logistical challenges for officials and campaigns.
Karya terbaik Siti Rosniza.
Patutlah kaki dia sakit. Kaki dia melecur lah abang motor.
Kau ni dah kenapa ni berabang-abangkan aku?
Perjalanan seorang gadis lurus.
Nek Wan dah berhenti ke apa?
Bukan macam tu. Nek Wan
Jangan menyampuk boleh tak? Menyakitkan hatilah setiap kali aku jumpa kau ni.
Bertemu duka.
Sekarang ni aku dah terpijak dah tahi kucing bodoh ni. Aku nak kau cuci.
Kejujuran yang membawa kesakitan dan kesedihan.
Selagi dia tak kahwin, selagi Mama tak dapat cucu, selagi itulah harta Nek tu akan jatuh pada sesiapa saja.
Cik Zara ikhlaslah. Aku carikan dia. Bahayalah ya.
Kau akan masuk perangkap aku, siwil.
Takdir itu milik aku. Isnin hingga Kamis di Astro dan On Demand.
More than 30,000 people have been killed in Gaza since October 7th, according to Palestinian health officials. Although mediators say a truce deal between Hamas and Israel could be reached soon, aid agencies have warned of famine in the north.
The latest toll for Palestinians killed in the war came after at least 79 people died overnight across the Gaza Strip. The Health Ministry added that children had died of malnutrition and dehydration at Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, said the amount of humanitarian aid entering Gaza had halved this month. It warned that it may be forced to suspend operations in the region if it did not receive funding soon. Around $450 million in funding was cut off by key donors, including the US, Britain and Germany, following allegations that the agency's staff members were involved in the October 7th strike.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned of a nuclear conflict if NATO countries sent their troops to Ukraine. In his annual State of the Nation address, he also urged Russia to strengthen its Western military district after Finland and Sweden's admission to the Atlantic Alliance.
Заговорили о возможности отправки на Украину натовских военных контингентов. Но мы помним судьбу тех, кто направлял когда-то свои контингенты на территорию нашей страны. Но теперь последствия для возможных интервентов будут гораздо более трагичными.
France hinted earlier this week at the possibility of sending ground troops to Kyiv, but the US and key European allies have rejected that suggestion. Putin was speaking ahead of a presidential election in March, of which he is certain to be re-elected for another 6-year term.
Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has apologized for a political funding scandal involving his Liberal Democratic Party LDP as he appeared before a parliamentary ethics committee. Kishida also pledged to push for reforms to restore public trust in politics in the wake of the scandal. Kishida became the first prime minister to appear before a parliamentary ethics committee, which investigates the political and moral conduct of lawmakers facing allegations of wrongdoing. The ruling LDP has come under intense scrutiny over allegations that some of its factions failed to report some of their income from fundraising parties and set up slush funds for years. Kishida urged the accused party members to explain how they used the unreported money, while stressing the need to amend the political funding law to ensure that similar scandals do not occur again. Approval ratings for LDP have sunk to a record low in the wake of the scandal. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been barred from appearing on the Republican presidential primary ballot in Illinois. An Illinois state judge made the ruling based on Trump's role in the U.S. Capitol riots in January 2021.
Illinois voters had argued that Trump should be disqualified from the state's primary ballot on March 9th and general election ballot on November 5th because he violated the anti-insurrection clause on the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment. The judge sided with the voters, but delayed the ruling from taking effect pending an expected appeal by Trump. The final outcome of the case, along with similar challenges, would likely be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court, which previously heard arguments on Trump's eligibility on February 8th. Trump, the national frontrunner for the 2024 Republican nomination, was earlier removed from the Colorado and Maine state ballots after the two states determined he was disqualified under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. It bars anyone from holding public office who has taken an oath to support the U.S. Constitution but has then engaged in insurrection or rebellion. Both decisions are also on hold while he appeals.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.